Hey folks, I'm Chris and I'm your Commander Mechanic, here to take a look at the brand new Kamigawa Neon Dynasty Commander Precons. We'll take a look at the commanders, the new cards, the deck straight out of the box, and then put together a little upgrade so you can get it humming ASAP. Today we'll be looking at our red-green Precon Upgrades Unleashed. This deck is an interesting take on the red-green archetype. Previously, this color combination was known for big, swingy creatures, but now we're looking at modifying our creatures. What does that mean? Well, a modified creature is one of three things: either enchanted with an aura, equipped with an equipment, or has a counter on it. Any kind of counter as well, not just +1/+1 counters. And that brings us to our two new multicolored legends in the deck. First is Chishiro, the Shattered Blade. This 4-mana 4/4 Snake Samurai reads, whenever an aura or equipment enters the battlefield under your control, create a 2/2 red spirit creature token with Menace. Additionally, at the beginning of each end step, you put a +1/+1 counter on each modified creature you control, modifying them even further. This is a great new approach for this color combination. Of course, you can lean into just counters, just auras, or just equipment, or you can get the most out of all of them in one deck. The second multicolor legend of the Precon is Kaima, the Fractured Calm. A 4-mana 3/3 spirit, Kaima reads, at the beginning of your end step, goad each creature your opponents control that's enchanted by an aura you control. Put a +1/+1 counter on Kaima for each creature goaded this way. Goad! We never see enough of this mechanic, and for those not familiar, a goaded creature is forced to attack on its controller's turn if able, and has to attack someone other than the player that goaded it. Both of these are incredible, fresh takes on the red-green archetype, and I am glad to see them, even if they might not be as individually powerful. But we'll take a look at that in a few moments. There are another 20 brand new cards printed in this Precon, a lot of which are real superstars. Let's take a look at some of my favorites. The first is Kami of Celebration. A 5-mana 3/3 might not seem like a great return, but look at this text. Whenever a modified creature you control attacks, exile the top card of your library. You may play it this turn. And whenever you cast a spell from exile, put a +1/+1 counter on target creature you control. We've been seeing so much support from Red for casting from exile, and the Kami here does it all. Enables us more temporary card draw and generates long-term advantage through +1/+1 counter generation. Commanders like Prosper Tonebound love this spirit, so does Lelia the Blade Reforged. And the Kami is a great fit in anything that's making counters or attacking with creatures with counters. Halana and Elena, partners for instance. 5 mana is a lot to ask, but this could be getting you access to 4, 5, or 6 cards each turn. Another interesting new creature is the mono-green legend printed here, Kosai Patient Warlord. This mono-green ogre samurai is a 0/5 for 3 mana, and as long as he's equipped, enchanted, and has a counter on him, whenever he deals combat damage to an opponent, you draw that many cards, and he deals that much damage to each other opponent. Sure, there's some hoops to jump through, but that payoff is massive. He's a build-your-own Hydra Omnivore with a built-in Hunter's Insight. I'm excited to do a brew with this guy sometime soon. Really interesting, unique angle. The third new card I want to highlight is Unquenchable Fury. I'm not normally a fan of auras in Commander or any other format because they can be a waste. When the enchanted creature dies, you lose that aura. That can be a massive disadvantage and negative tempo swing. However, when an aura says, when this is put into a graveyard from play, return it to your hand, I sit up and take notice. Rancor says this as well and is maybe the best aura ever because of it. Unquenchable Fury also reads, whenever enchanted creature attacks, it deals damage to the defending player equal to the number of cards in their hand. For just 3 mana, this can make your 1/1 Goblin an engine that deals 4 or 5 damage on attack, and talk about a way to punish the player keeping 10 or 15 cards in their hand thanks to a Thought Vessel or Reliquary Tower. I love this, and with a focus on modifying our creatures with enchantments, it's an all-star. Overall, I feel like this Upgrade Unleashed deck is, out of the box, very solid. The curve is a bit higher than I'd like, but there are several cards, Primeval Protector and Walking Skyscraper for instance, that discount their own mana values, so it's a little deceptive. The deck also doesn't quite take as much advantage of Green's ramping capabilities as I'd like to see. We have Sakura Tribe Elder, Kodama's Rage, and the classic Rampant Growth in the deck, but the other options in the deck are subpar in my opinion. We do have Soul Ring and Arcane Signet, of course, and I suppose Rishkar Pima Renegade counts as ramp, kind of, but I'd like to see that aspect improved. There's also a distinct lack of auras we'd want to put on opponents' creatures here to take advantage of Kaima in particular. Normally, these Precons give you enough ammunition to use either legend in the head of the deck, but we'll need to significantly pivot the 99 if we want Kaima to be our commander. So let's take a look at that then. How would we change this deck to ensure Kaima, the Fractured Calm, makes a strong goading commander? There's a lot we can gut to make room for auras. If we're less concerned with modifying our own creatures, we can drop some of the equipment like Bone Horde or Blackblade Reforged or Fire Shrieker in favor of auras that we wouldn't mind putting on our creatures or our opponent's creatures. I mentioned Rancor, and it's a clear favorite for include here. If the enchanted creature dies in combat or an opponent sacrifices them, we get it back to reuse it. Simple and necessary to include. The Impetus auras as well. Predatory Impetus and Shiny Impetus are great fits here as they goad even without the commander in play. They're what we want on opponents' creatures. And we can also include defensive auras here too. Kenris Transformation or Lignify. They nerf the enchanted creature but still goad it, getting us the benefits and potentially causing the auras to result in 2-for-1 scenarios against our opponents. The best part is, as long as we have and can protect our commander, any aura that pumps the enchanted creature is a bonus. We can't be attacked by it due to goad, so we're sending our opponent's threats at our other enemies. So a Colossification can very much result in game over scenarios for our opponents in these instances. Giving an opponent's commander +20/+20 is enough for them to one-shot other opponents. Just have a plan for when there are no other opponents left. Goad does nothing if you and one opponent are the only ones left standing. By that time, we're hoping Kaima is big enough to do some work on her own. As we've not been attacked, maybe our commander can get in. Let's include some ways to protect Kaima further then. With Swiftfoot Boots already in the deck, Lightning Greaves is an easy include. Ways to protect all of our permanents like Heroic Intervention or Rapid Vigor are excellent gotcha effects that blank targeted removal or board wipes. We can focus more on +1/+1 counter synergies in our own deck to lean into that aspect of Modified. Tuskguard Captain, Duskshell Crawler, and Pride Malkin are all ways to ensure your creatures with counters, Kaima chief of all, have trample and can get some valuable damage in. My favorite here is Bellowing Tangleworm, turning all your green creatures into near unblockable beaters with Intimidate. Fight spells like Ram Through are perfect too. Deal with creatures you don't have goaded and deal some damage to your opponents. Nice and easy. I've packed the list with small auras that attach to your opponent's creatures and return to your hand when the creature enchanted by them dies, or whenever you want to by paying a small price. It's easy enough to have 2, 3, or 4 creatures goaded at a time, and keep doing it, every turn. Take a look at my list below for a cheap pivot to this out-of-the-box list. It's a fantastic deck on its own and a great starting point for 4 to 5 different directions to take this archetype. I mentioned this yesterday in my Buckle Up Precon upgrade, linked up top, but this batch of Commander Precons is great and I hope they keep it up with this quality. Let me know what you think of Upgrades Unleashed, both out of the box and as an upgrade. As always folks, good luck and have fun.